Are you here for a passport or something? Or?
We're looking for Mr. Goretti, Stefan Goretti. We were told he would be here.
Oh, maybe he's at the party then. Do you have an invitation?
I start searching my pockets and patting my pockets and Mr. Goretti. He said we'd be welcome. He gave me something. I can't quite. I can't find it now. But he said all loyal Italian fascists will be welcome to the party here. And it's wonderful to be here back with my countrymen. Surely there'd be some way of coming in and joining this party that we were invited to.
Well, I'm afraid I would have to see an invitation unless you can make it worth my while.
As a guard out here, I can imagine you maybe you don't earn so much. In this line of work, and maybe afterwards you'd like to go and buy yourself a drink. And Farley starts to feel in his pockets where he's secreted a little of the money, some of the Reichmarks that they brought with him, and he takes out a bundle and passes them over.
Yes. How much would you think it is? 2,000 mark would buy a kilo of coffee. And you have 1 million in total, so you have quite a lot.
Right. Okay.
Give him 5.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more. I think a bit more. 10. I say 10.
Wow, 10,000 marks.
If it's too much, he'll think
it's a little bit too much.
It's suspicious.
It's suspicious. Maybe. It's a little bit too much, I think.
Okay.
2,000 is enough, isn't it? Kilo coffee.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yeah. 5. 3. It's reverse haggling. That's
give him some
Yeah, we're standing outside.
money and just
no, less more.
So how much money do you give him?
Okay, we split the difference and we give him 3,500 Reichmarks.
All right, very specific. All right, so you give him 3,500 marks, and that's a substantial amount of money, of course. And you're really only looking to get into the embassy, and you are obviously Italian, so you have legitimate business there. Plus, you're wearing these Flakturm bands as well, so you're definitely worthy of the entrance into the embassy. It's just no students. Don't cause any trouble, all right? Don't get me into trouble.
Oh, you can rely on us. And
yes, you. I suppose you move into the embassy there, and it's the inside is very. I mean, it is very new, and this part hasn't been destroyed. And you can see through the windows into the inner yard of the embassy, where there's large fires that are burning in braziers, and a large group of people are having a really wild party, seemingly to celebrate the coming apocalypse. And they're all wearing togas on top of that. Booze and drugs are everywhere. Inside the building part, you see 2 men sitting, waiting outside of what looks to be some form of office that's marked ambassador. Neither of them are Mr. Goretti, however.
So if we stand there and we look around, we don't see Mr. Goretti in sight.
So we should ask somebody.
Yeah, we shouldn't try and draw too much attention, because our coats clearly don't fit into this toga party.
Is there any way we could find more suitable clothes to melt in a little bit?
Would you like to find some togas?
Yes.
Is there a toga wardrobe?
Is there a toga wardrobe?
There is indeed actually togas prepared here. So yes, you can change into togas if you would like.
Yep. That's what Drummond is doing.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Finds a little quiet.
When
walk
in
up the
Rome.
corner.
As they say.
Exactly. When in Berlin.
Farley takes off his coat and looks at the togas with great distaste, but finally slips one over his shoulders. But he makes sure he's got his pistol tucked away underneath it.
And yes, you do that. And where do you intend to go then? You have these two men who are waiting out here, and then you have the actual party in there. Is that where you're headed then?
I think that Drummond is more interested in going into the party to see if she can find somebody to chat up a little bit regarding Mr. Goretti.
And Farley is looking at the two people waiting outside the ambassador's office and wonders who might possibly be inside the office just now, and thinks that perhaps he'll wander over and see who comes out and see if there's anything to be gleaned from these two people waiting.
Well, yes, and you do that, and they notice you coming up, and they sort of look at you sympathetically. If you're here to see the ambassador, well, I'm afraid he's shit-faced and participating in an orgy at the moment. We are waiting for him to finish and sober up so we can see if we can get out of here.
Is he in there in his office?
Yes, and now that you're closer to the door, you can hear that, yes, there is a rather loud orgy going on in there.
So I step past these two and just subtly try the door.
The door is locked. They seem to be wanting to have their privacy with us. And then, yes, Drummond, you, on the other hand, so Farley went to speak to these men who were waiting outside of the ambassador's office. But you seem to be headed for the party, yes, to try to find Mr. Goretti there.
Mm-hmm.
And you move into this large group of people who are all drinking very, very heavily and doing drugs completely in the open. It's as if it's the last day on Earth. You know, everyone is just celebrating this as if it was the last chance that they would have to do anything in their life, and obviously not caring at all what will await them the next day, next morning especially. And you do, in fact, in the crowd here, we find Mr. Goretti. He's not wearing a toga, however.
Oh.
He's sitting by himself drinking.
So a waiter comes by her with a silver tray of glasses of champagne, and she quickly grabs one to fit in even more. And then she crosses the room straight up to Mr. Goretti, and she says, "Mr. Goretti, I presume?"
See, I'm Stefan. Who might you be?
I'm Antonia Hoffman. And, well, I would like to talk to you privately, if that would be okay.
Certainly. What about?
I come with news from Mr. Ligmotti from Milan.
And he immediately, his eyes become big, and he's like, "Oh, okay. This is important." He realizes, because this is, of course, the information that you have gotten via the MI6, that this is what you're supposed to say to him to make him know who you are. And he moves you over to the side to sort of a more private part of this party, where there's hopefully at least no ears listening to your conversation. Yeah, what can I do for you?
Well, I am looking for Nicholas Lawton, and I need to find him immediately. Yes.
Lawton? Look, I haven't spoken to Lawton for months. For the best, I think. Spies, always so quick to leave friends behind, huh?
Yeah, I know what you mean. How many months exactly was this? Did you see him?
Could it have been maybe two months roughly, I think. Yeah. We had quite a lot of contact, but then he started losing interest in what information I could give after the Allies had passed the Gothic line, and it became more and more obvious that the approach through Italy wasn't going to get them to Berlin. They'd lost a lot in the fight as well, so yeah. But he stopped asking me things, but it doesn't mean that I don't have information to give, so
What do you
that's
have?
a real pity. What do you want to know?
Everything. We need to find him immediately, as I said, and it's of great importance.
What?
Did he change? Did his behavior change the last time you spoke?
Yeah, it had changed. He seemed stressed. He seemed worried. I don't know. It's as if it was more and more obvious that the Red Army was going to get here first, and he seemed legitimately worried about that. And I can understand why, of course, because those guys are crazy. They're going to get him into trouble if he remains here. He probably just wanted to get out.
Yes, I could see that. Did he mention anybody new? A name?
No, he did not. He did not. Farley and Bauer, you are in the entrance to the embassy. You hear what must be a large number of trucks stopping outside the embassy. You know, the brakes sort of being pushed in, and you hear the sound of jackboots running up marble stairs, and the words Gestapo, Goretti, and arrest coming from the main entrance. What do you do?
Well, Bauer was standing there, and he was just gonna tell his two compatriots that we should stick together, and then they just went poof, poof, to one in each direction. So he stood there hesitantly for a while, looking at Farley, trying to get into the ambassador's office. But after that, I think he moved towards the party, but not really going into the party proper, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have quite a good overlook over this, and I mean, still hear the noises from the Gestapo, and when he hears that, he heads into the party to try and find Drummond.
And what does Farley do?
I rip off my toga and head back to where I left my clothes, my outer clothes.
You rip off your toga and then you go there.
well, my assumption was, you see, that I was only kind of half-heartedly going for this. Wasn't actually, taking all my clothes off.
You had the toga on top of your normal clothes.
Well, basically, yeah, just taking off coat and so on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can I make it back to where we left our things before these jackbooted folk come in?
You can just do that because you're able to react very quickly, and you're the one who's closest to where these sounds are coming from, and you're of course you're a man of action, so you know immediately that you need to get the hell out of here.
So I run back, I grab my things, I throw my coat back on me. I assume that we also left our submachine guns there. I grab mine.
Yes, the others would not have theirs with them. Well, Bauer may, right? Or did you also leave yours behind?
Maybe the smallest pistol, but not the rest.
All right. So, Drummond would definitely have left her weapons behind, although
Yes.
maybe not the pistol.
A little small pistol still out there, yes. Couldn't go without it.
Of course not, it's a dangerous place.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the two submachine guns have then been left behind. And it seems like you are moving towards to get into the party, to get to Drummond, who's there, and that is correct, yes?
Yeah, I'm trying to find her or Goretti as soon as possible.
And you see them. They're right over there. What do you do?
I go over there. not too quickly, so as to arouse suspicion, but faster than I normally would, saunter over there. So going up there and say, yeah, the Gestapo is here, and they're after you, Mr. Goretti. You need to go out by the back door, and we need to go someplace else right now.
Gestapo, cazzo! We have to go. You have to help me. I can't go by myself. They're gonna catch me.
You go by the back door, and we will try to do something to slow them down. Okay?
Whatever you say. He starts moving towards the back door of the embassy, moving to the other side of this inner yard. What do the rest of you do then? Do you all move towards the Gestapo then, or?
I give Drummond a look, and then I look towards Goretti. Like, do we take care of him so he doesn't talk about us, or do we go back and do what I told him that we would do?
I'm thinking that it might be good to just take care of the situation so the intel won't leave that we are looking for Lawton.
Okay, then I follow you.
Okay.
So you are following Goretti then?
Yes.
Yes. And Farley?
From where I am, can I see what they're doing? They've gone into the party. Do I have any sight line?
You do. You see them. You know where they are. And you can decide what you wish to do. Would you like to follow them, or would you like to take another route?
I will follow them. I grab the other submachine guns, stuff them under my coat as best I can, and make my way swiftly towards where they are heading.
All right. So since you have stopped to pick some things up, I'm going to want you to roll for act under pressure here to be able to do this without the Gestapo spotting you and being interested as to why someone who, well, obviously doesn't seem to belong at this party is there.
Sure.
So I would like you to roll plus coolness.
Okay. So just let's see. It's that will be 10 with plus 2.
All right. Then you are moving, but you have all these rather heavy weapons slung over your shoulder, and you hear these steps getting closer and closer, and you're not moving quickly enough. It's been a while since you've moved around with a large pack, and you basically have a choice to make here. You either dump the heavy weapons that you have, or the Gestapo will see you.
So I have to dump these extra weapons, these
Yes.
these other ones.
Yeah, the two that you've brought. So you can still keep your own, but
Sure.
the ones that belong to Bauer and Drummond, you would have to drop. Or you can also be spotted by the Gestapo. That's another possibility as well. And you can, of course, shoot at them as well. You have a lot of guns.
Tricky. I leave their submachine guns. I drop them, and I carry on with only my own submachine gun.
Very good. So you leave those weapons behind. You're able to hide them so they're not just like lying in the middle of the floor or anything like that. And then you move after your compatriots, and you're able to all catch up as you were reaching the back entrance to the embassy, or the exit rather. And you see that there are two guards here, both wearing togas, who are facing towards the road. They don't seem to have spotted you yet.
Where's Goretti?
Goretti is with you. Or would you like to have something happen to him on the way, or what would you like to do?
I was not party to the conversation between Goretti and Drummond, so I don't know what has or hasn't been said, what Goretti has told us, whether there's things we still want from him. So I don't have anything in mind other than going out of the building. But of course, it might be different for.
I think that as we catch up, before we catch up to Goretti, I think that I might say to Drummond that we could help him escape also, yeah? We could use him for later, yeah?
We could. Is that something that you think would be such a good idea? I guess it is, since you're bringing it up. So let's do that.
Okay.
We'll keep him for later.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And the guards are ahead of you now. They hear you sort of running towards the exit here, and they start to turn around, and they are holding their submachine guns up. You have no idea if they have been alerted by the Gestapo of what's going on here, but it looks like they're surprised that you're coming here. What do you do?
I think that Bauer looks to the two who are more battle-hardened than he is, or at least he thinks they are.
These two guards, how spread apart are they?
They're standing fairly close to each other. If you wanted to do one controlled burst and take out both of them, you have certainly done something like that in the past.
That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my submachine gun, level it at them, and open fire.
All right. In that case, you can basically try to mow them down, and they are surprised by you arriving here. So I would like you to then engage in combat. So roll plus violence.
Well, so it's 8 plus 3, so I've got 11.
11. So you are... the Gestapo is right after you. You were in Berlin, literally in the middle of the lair of the wolf, so to speak. And you find yourself panicking, and you've, of course, been seeing all this crazy stuff since you came here. And as you look out through this back entrance, you see these two guards here. You're mowing them down, and you see in front of you how the embassy sort of fades around you. You're looking out across a burning battlefield under a black sky, and large fortifications, as if it was belonging to some massive castle, is towering above you and in front of you, and you are struck by this realization that you are not where you were just a second ago. You're seeing something that is here but not here at the same time, and you hear the submachine gun, how you're expending the ammo from it, and when you blink, you see that you're back, and you're looking at Berlin again, and you keep like holding the trigger of the submachine gun, and it just sort of is clicking as you've emptied the magazine. The two guards are lying there dead, and their togas are colored red from the blood. And Goretti is looking at you with shock in his eyes, but he just keeps on running. What do the rest of you do?
Head towards the car, I guess.
Right. Where would you have parked the car? You parked it in front, or did you do what you did in the previous area you were in, and then parked some ways away?
Yeah, a few blocks away would be the standard, I think.
So then you are rushing towards that. Farley, having seen this, how do you react?
For a moment or two, in fact, it's hard for me to know quite how many moments, because time doesn't seem to be operating in its usual way. I just stand there and look around me, and I see the embassy, and I hear the running feet, but in my mind there's still this image, this other place where I seem to have been, and fire and battlements, and then I hear some shouting in German behind me, and it jolts me, and I see my companions now running away. I've got a little bit of a lead on me, so I belt after them as fast as I can.
Indeed, you do. Drummond, what do you do? You're just belting towards the car, or do you do something special? You see that Farley is a little bit held up, seems to sort of freeze after having taken out those guards.
Yeah. So she is wondering why he is reacting in that way. Of course, you can understand that maybe it's not easy to just mow down guards like that, but still she's concentrating on running against the car, and she's thinking to ask him later on how he's doing.
And you reach the car, and you're all very sweaty and like panting, and it doesn't seem as if the Gestapo has caught up with you, at least not yet. What do you do?
Good. We need to get away, yeah?
Yeah, just close the door really quickly now.
Distance.
And you have Goretti getting into the back of the car, and he's just sitting there swearing in Italian. Puttana, cazzo! And yeah, you drive off, and you leave the Italian embassy behind you, and you make sure, Drummond, that there's no Gestapo tail on you. You seem to have lost them successfully. Although there might be some questions asked at some point. Some people ended up dead over there, and there's certainly people who have seen that you have been there. But well, Berlin is a big city, I suppose, with a lot of people in it.
As long as they haven't seen our car, we should be all right. For now, you are leaving soon anyway, so you should be okay.
Farley, what happened back there? You looked very weird when you were running, like you were freezing up or something.
There's things going on here that things aren't quite what they seem. But look, we leave that now.
But are you okay?
I'm fine.
You okay to continue the mission? Yeah.
I'm fine to continue.
You need to be.
Well, thanks for telling me. Now, what have we found out from him?
Well, you can ask him yourself. He's sitting here. Miss Goretti, do you mind repeating what you just told me in there?
Well, and he repeats what he told you in there about losing contact with Lawton a few months ago. That he has a lot of information, even if Lawton didn't seem interested. But it's a lot of information about Italian and German relations, about Italy's role in the war, those kinds of things. He may also, of course, know a lot of other things. He does seem to be a rather well-connected businessman, but the point is to have the right questions to ask.
When you were last in touch with Lawton, why was that? What was the contact for? Was he helping you with something? Were you helping him with something?
Last time we spoke, it was about Solo, the Solo Republic, and about what was going on with Mussolini over there. It seemed like the MI6 were interested in that. Nothing out of the ordinary, really. Oh my God, I can't believe how the Gestapo. Why would they be coming after me? Have they found out about us? Oh, I'm screwed. I'm so screwed.
Do you know somebody called Leonore Eisenberg?
Leonore Eisenberg. I might, yeah. Yeah, she was a party girl during the 20s. That's when I met her. Well connected, rather rich. Seemed to be moving in the same circles as Lawton.
But you haven't talked to her recently?
No, not recently, no. But has something happened to her? Has someone come to get her as well? I mean, are they coming after all of us at the same? Is the Gestapo coming for us?
It looks a bit like that.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, we need to find the other two as quick as possible.
well, I definitely don't want to get caught by the Gestapo, and they'll take us to that torture central.
And you, Mr. Goretti, what have you been working with most recently?
I mean, aside from betraying my country and the fascists, trying to import coffee and getting out of here, failing badly at both.
But particularly in relation to betraying your country.
Giving out secrets that I've gotten from my contacts at the embassy. That's been mostly it.
And who have you been giving them to?
Well, I was going to give them to Lawton, but then he stopped contacting me, and I've been collecting it all. If you want them, I have the documents, but they're in my office, and I don't think it's a good idea to go back there.
I second that.
And it's not really betraying your country if you are fighting to get rid of bad leadership, yeah?
Well, that's what I tell myself.
You're quite right. Getting rid of fascist scum, that's the most noble thing you can do.
He nods quietly to you and seems a little bit calmer by those words. That he's at least doing the right thing, even if it seems to have put him into a great deal of trouble.
Seeing as there seemed to be potentially great need of haste, I think that Bauer will think on if Else or Friedrich would be closest, and really try and get there really fast.
Right. Well, the Flakturm is right by here. It's by the Tiergarten. So by the city park. You can actually see it right over there. This big colossal concrete just beast that has been built in the city to defend it from air attacks.
Okay, then we park a few blocks away and head there.
Right. What? How will you? What would you like to do here? Now you parked. Is Goretti going to come with you? Is he going to stay? What do you want to do?
First of all, I think that that Drummond is a little bit curious when it comes to Mr. Goretti, if he might know of Friedrich Kinderman or Elsie Ingersleben. So she might ask him about that, if he has any information about them.
Goretti does not seem to have any information about them. They, well, he does know a little bit about Elsa Ingersleben. She's, yes, she is working with propaganda for Joseph Goebbels over at the radio. And he knows of her. She is also moving in somewhat the same circles. From what he understands, she seems to have some kind of connection with the NKVD, with the Soviet secret police.
Okay, so maybe she's the first one that they can focus on. What do you guys think?
Well, we're actually right by the place where Friedrich works.
Oh,
right
well then,
now.
okay. Let's just do that then.
We just arrived there.
Yes.
Yes.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you have arrived by Flakturm 1. If you would like to go to the radio house, it is of course not too far away.
But how will to do? Like, do we leave Goretti behind, or do we bring him along? That's the question.
So he will stay in the car.
Yeah.
Can he? Will he?
He reluctantly accepts. Well, as long as I don't have to go close to a fortress filled with German soldiers, then I'm okay. I'd rather be here. Yes, he says.
You're rather safe here.
And so Flakturm 1 is it's located right by Tiergarten, and it's this massive square building in green painted concrete, 75 meters wide and at least 40 meters tall. It functions as a kind of anti-aircraft castle and an air raid shelter. And because it's so close to the old Berlin Zoo, it's referred to as the Zoo Tower. Drummond, you know that Goebbels has his office inside of Flakturm 1. Hitler is, of course, in his own bunker. You also know that this is where they're storing a lot of the valuable art from the museums in Berlin, and also the art that they've confiscated from their conquest of Europe. That's kept in one of the lower levels of the building. The bust of Nefertiti, the altar of Zeus, is here.
Also means that there's a lot of guards here, I guess.
It's the most well-guarded place in all of Berlin, basically.
Yes.
The large building is called the G-Turm, the G Tower, and then close to it is a smaller building that has a radar installation on top that's called the L Tower.
Just to get in there is going to be pretty hard.
Bauer, maybe, it may be hard, but you are an officer of the Volkssturm. You are a rather high officer within the Volkssturm, even. Surely you could have some kind of reason for official business within one of the main defenses of the city.
Yeah, and maybe we don't have to say that we're looking for Kinderman. Even. That might be something. Do I know of anyone else? Have I been inside?
You have not been inside, no. This would be your first time.
Do I know of any... Do I have an acquaintance or something that works inside of the Flakturm?
You have had dealings with a Fahnenjunker Gerhard Scholl. He works for the Luftwaffe. He's working actually in the L Tower. You were in contact with him on a matter of anti-air defense of the area that you were responsible for in Berlin. He might actually know Kinderman. They're working in the same place from what you have gotten in this note from MI6, the L Tower.
Okay, so I suggest that we tell the guards that we're here to see Scholl, not Kinderman, okay?
Good.
Yes.
So we don't incriminate him if our faces are going around the town later, yeah?
Sounds good.
Okay.
There's soldiers with Sturmgewehr 44s, these very, very modern assault rifles. They basically look like AKs, and that's actually where the AK design came from. They're on watch at the wall around the L Tower, and they look at you, but they see immediately your Volkssturm bands, and you are actually accepted rather quickly into the L Tower, saying that you are going to be meeting with Gerhard Scholl. And you have to wait a little bit, but not long, until you're shown into his office. It's a small but very, very modern office. This whole complex was created just a few years ago. It's climate controlled. They can probably survive for quite a long time in here if when the invasion finally comes. This will be one of the toughest places to take in all of the city.
Okay, but so we're not left by ourselves at any time. There are guards at the gates who follow us all the way to Scholl.
There will be, yes. But if you would like to huddle before and have some kind of conversation about what to say to him, you can of course do that.
Yeah.
That does sound very good.
We need to. Some of you need to go and find Kinderman. Maybe I go talk to Scholl myself and just some fake errand, and you go and speak to Friedrich, yeah?
Yeah.
It's an enormous place. Where are we going to find him?
Fortunately, the L Tower is fortunately smaller. It is a smaller building that has this radar installation. It is not that much bigger than a normal smaller office building, really. But you're correct. If it would have been in the G Tower, yeah, it would take quite a long time to find anyone in there. That complex is massive.
Okay, so we come to Bauer's colleague's office, and
Yes.
and we've still got guards with us at this point, or we've been left alone.
The guards are actually following you all the way in, as they seem to be doing with all guests. This is pretty much the most sensitive military installation in all of Berlin, or at least one of the most sensitive ones, especially this one that has the radar installation on top. Yes, they are not looking away and letting you go about on your own in here, no.
And I've had dealings with Scholl before, we said.
You have, yes. Not here, but elsewhere.
Yeah.
He's his left eye, it twitches nervously. That's the thing that you remember most about him.
Okay. Well, I guess I knock on the door and wait for...
Yes, you do, and you're shown into the office, and as I said, it's this very modern, small office, and Scholl is a short, rather wide man. He puts his hat down on the table. Bauer, how do you like the Flakturm?
Oh, very impressive. Yeah, very impressive. Wow.
I'm telling you, the Red Army, they're never going to take this place.
Oh.
And when you Flakturm hit back, the Bolsheviks will be driven back by the sheer power and spirit of the German people and the Aryan race.
His knuckles turns white as he stands here listening to this. Yes,
I have to disguise a sort of a guffaw with a little bout of coughing.
Now, what can I do to help you, Compagnie Führer Bauer?
Well, I guess that Bauer tries to just make a report or some kind of either ask for a favor or leave some kind of report that has to do with what they have been, the dealings that they have had with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can continue those conversations, and it feels very natural. The conversation is, it feels good. But you do need to try to get something specific out of this. Otherwise, he's probably just going to show you to the door.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm.
leave it at that.
That's what I'm aiming for. Because just as we are, like finishing our business or the short, quite nondescript thing that I've just not described. I was just going to ask him. Oh, by the way, Friedrich Kindermann, he works here, yeah?
Didn't you hear? They found him murdered this morning.
This morning?
Shot in the back of the head. He wasn't found far away from the bunker. Shot in the back of the head, execution style.
Fancy that.
Can you believe they found a Wehrmacht officer also found murdered same morning? Just 10 minutes walk that way. Must have been the same perpetrator. It's all really unsettling. We expect to meet the enemy. That if we die from the enemy. But
in the field, yeah.
Yes, not shot in the back of the head by some coward. Perhaps it's their past catching up with them, he says, and just sort of looks away.
You never know. Well, thank you, and we'll be on our way. We'll not disturb you anymore. Vielen Dank.
The thing you just said, the last thing you said about him maybe doing something to deserve to be shot in the back of the head. Could you care to please elaborate for us?
Well, I shouldn't say more. It's sensitive, but seeing as it's you, Bauer, both Kinderman and Jaeger, who's the other man who was killed, they used to work for the Abwehr. Drummond, you know what the Abwehr is, of course. They are your they were your counterparts, so to speak, within the German military, the German military intelligence. It was, however, dissolved in 1944 after the Frau Solf Tea Party incident, where the Gestapo revealed connections between the Abwehr and anti-Nazi intellectuals in Germany. And they were also linked to the Operation Valkyrie assassination attempt on Hitler in 1944, which got their then disgraced commander, Wilhelm Canaris, sent to a concentration camp for high treason. And the entire organization was taken apart, and whatever people they had that weren't thrown into concentration camps were sent to the front or to other lower positions. Seems like it was quite a scene over in Jaeger's apartment.
Really?
Whoever murdered the both of them seems to have panicked.
Is it far away from here? Is it nearby?
It's just 10 minutes that way. I really hope that the murderer isn't gonna come back.
Do you mind giving us the address?
Oh, sure. And he gives you the address. It's right by Savigny-Platz, and it's an apartment overlooking that one. It would be nice to see the perpetrator hang before the Soviets arrive. Would be worried to have traitors skulking about during the battle.
We'll see to it that it won't happen. Thank you so much for your information. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, good luck with the defense of the city, Bauer. We will do our part from here. To the end, Zeke.
Yeah.
The final victory, my friends, and then he does the Nazi salute.
Answers the same.
So, yes, you have gotten an address to a man named Leon Jäger, who is an officer in the Wehrmacht who was also murdered. It's by Savigny-Platz in western Berlin. It's about 10 minutes walk from Flakturm 1.
When we're outside, I ask, okay, should we investigate this as well, or do we go to the next person and...
We should go to the apartment and see if we can find any trace of who did this. And also, I think that Elsie might be in trouble.
Yeah, but if she's in trouble, we should hurry there, no?
That's why we should divide ourselves and divide the group. And so let's say that me and Farley can go to the apartment, and you, Bauer, can go and see if you can find Elsie Ingesleben.
I think that's a bad idea.
Why?
How are we going to meet again here? It's very hard to be in contact.
It
in
is.
this huge city, in these circumstances.
Let's say in 2 hours. Will give us plenty enough of time.
I think we should stick together.
Well, time is of an essence, and we should hurry up with this, so I do not agree. Bauer, what do you think?
Who holds a military rank here?
Well, Drummond is the senior MI6 agent here. Farley is primarily brought in as, a very experienced veteran and basically the might of the group. But the Drummond would be the ranking officer, yes, if you would like to handle it in the military hierarchy.
See, my way or the highway.
I'm not sure. I would not like to go to Elsa's without you guys as backup, actually. So if you are bent on going to the apartment first, then we do that all together, yeah?
Well, okay then. Come along.
And Drummond, you take the lead towards the to the apartment, and yes, you see a very beautiful sort of turn-of-the-century house on Savigny-Platz, and you see a police car parked outside of this building, and there seems to have been a fire in the top floor of the building, and if your information is correct, it was in the top floor where Leon Jäger lived before his murder. Farley, you have a bad feeling about this place. There's something here. You don't know how you know this, but you do. Something very powerful. Something connected with these runes that you saw before.
So we're walking towards this building. As we do so, I start walking more slowly and hesitantly and fall behind a little. And I'm staring up at the ruined top part of this building. And I have this sensation in my chest and stomach. But I'm a soldier, and I just surreptitiously check my weapons. I'm sick of the at the response, of the reaction of these other two every time I sense or see something which they don't. So for now, I say nothing.
Yes, and you then follow Drummond as she leads you up into this building, up to the apartment. The building reeks of smoke, presumably from the fire, and the door to the apartment is open, and you can see that it's sort of divided into two parts. It's a 6-room apartment. The left part of the apartment is where the fire has taken place. You hear steps coming from the burnt out area. There's someone in there. In the right part, that's been unaffected by the flames, you see a middle-aged woman and her, presumably teenaged daughter. They're gathering their things. It seems like they lived here. What do you do?
Since Drummond is leading,
Who would like to go? Drummond?
it feels like it would be her. Yeah, that would be only natural. So she walks up to the older lady, and she says, "Excuse me."
As she immediately looks and sees your Flakturm armband and looks up, obviously it's someone from the military coming to speak to her, so she sort of stands up straight and, yes?
Might you be the wife of the late Leon Jagger?
No, my name is Sandra Bunke, and this is my daughter Dorothea. Herr Jäger, he rented out half of his apartment to us. A very nice man. We cooked for him. I can't believe what happened.
Were you at home when the incident occurred?
Yes, we heard strange noises and then a gunshot. That's when we called for the police, and then later for the fire brigade after that. The fire had started. Fortunately, they were able to put it out. I feel so bad for him. First he gets sent to the front, gets his leg blown off, and then comes back here just to get murdered. Everything is falling apart.
Did you happen to catch anything else? Any words? Any names? Did you see anything? Anything that could help us get this or these people who did this to him?
No, I only heard the gunshot. I'm sorry. But as I told all this to Inspector Müller, he's in there right now, and maybe he will know more. You're trying to find the culprit, the perpetrator, yes?
Of course, yes.
I hope you kill him when you find him.
It will be a true pleasure to do that. Might I also just exchange a couple of words with your daughter? Maybe she heard something, saw something?
And you do that, and you're left alone with the daughter. The daughter is a rather typical teenager. Doesn't say so much, or when she does say things, she says too much. But there's nothing interesting or more than what the mother has provided you with already. They heard a gunshot tonight. They called the police. They called the fire brigade after they noticed that there was a fire. They ran out, and then they saw how the fire was put out, and now they've come back to get their things and find somewhere else to live, because this place is not possible to live in anymore.
So the one that is already that already asked them questions, is he still inside?
Yes, he is. He's in the apartment right now. He's checking out what's left after the fire.
Okay. Thank you so much for your help. I will go talk to him. And Drummond walks further into the house, looking for this person to see if he is willing to even speak to her, but he should be, I think.
Yes, of course. You are with the Flakturm after all. And you walk towards this burned out apartment. And Farley and Bauer, are you doing anything to deviate, or are you just following along?
I'm standing there and still with this feeling about this place that we're in. Do I get any sense of where the power or the feeling is coming from in this top part of the building?
Oh, it's crystal clear. It's from the burned out apartment. It's from where you hear those steps, from where the woman has pointed that the police officer is at. And Drummond is moving right towards it.
Bauer goes after.
And Farley waits, and then he calls out to them. And then he beckons them back, presuming that they hear his shout and turn to look.
Do you do that? You hear Farley yelling for you?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll look
So
back, and if you
turn around and see what he is shouting about.
There's something wrong in there. There's something. There's something. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it. We've got to be very, very careful.
Farley, to be honest, you are getting on my nerves a little bit. I don't know why you suddenly started to feel all of these feelings and see patterns and stuff everywhere, but I'm just about done with it. I'm going over there to speak. You can just come with me or wait outside. The choice is yours. And she leaves. She turns around and she leaves.
And you leave Farley standing there. Bauer, what do you do?
Well, Bauer thinks less of some kind of danger and evil perceived by Farley, and more about telling some kind of police officer that we are looking for Jäger and why we would do that. And these guys, they are out, like, when this mission is over, they're out of here. And I'm gonna have to stay here. And for God knows how long the Nazis will persevere. So he thinks that maybe he shouldn't be seen by a police officer if they start to connect what we're doing. Then he would like as few people as possible to have seen him. Especially a person who investigates these kind of things, because they have a nose for details. So I'm thinking maybe Bauer stays with Farley.
All right. Then Drummond, you come into this burned-out apartment, and you find a man who's very much dressed like homicide investigators are supposed to be dressed, in a fedora and a stylish coat. He's moving around the apartment. He's looking at things in a very meticulous fashion. He looks to you as you enter, speaking in a very calm manner, studying you with a piercing look. Ah, Flakturm. Pray tell, why do we have the honor of your presence at this crime scene?
I am Antonia Hoffman, and I would like to get some intel what is going on here. What happened? Do you have any information to share with me?
With the Flakturm, let's see. I would like you to roll to act under pressure here, just to see how cool you can keep in this situation. As Bauer has pointed out, this is a rather dangerous place for you to be, and you have to walk a very tight line here to not reveal too much about your true intentions. So I would like you to roll plus coolness.
10 plus...
10 minus 2.
10 minus 2, it's 8. That's not good.
Oh, you're not very cool at all.
Cool on the outside.
Flakturm wants to know things. There's so many things I could ask you, though. You seem to have so many secrets. They're visible right in your face. But fortunately for you, I'm really not interested in your secrets. So what do you wish to know?
Well, after that little speech of yours, I would just like to know if you have any leads on what happened to poor Leon Jäger. I know that he was short of course, and somebody torched the place, basically, but I would like to know if you have anything else to add.
Well, we know that the murderer Jaeger and Kinderman, they knew each other from their time at the Abwehr.
Even I know that.
Yeah. Well, treason has its price. And he burned documents, the perpetrator did. It seems to all be connected with the Abwehr from what little I could make out of the remains. So that seems to have been his interest in this matter.
Anything else?
Well, I'm sure that the MI6 would like to have their lost agent back. And you can have him back. The Gestapo have your missing people at the torture central in Kreuzberg.
You listen to Sweden Rolls playing KULT Divinity Lost with special guest star GM Mattias Fredriksson of Red Moon Role Playing. KULT was originally created by Gunilla Jonsson and Mikael Petersen, and KULT Divinity Lost is published by Helmgast. If you like our podcast, please rate and review us on iTunes or Google Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to get the opportunity to win some awesome giveaways. If you want to support our podcast and help us create more and more content, please go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/SwedenRolls. The music for this one-shot was created by myself, Andreas Lundström. Until our next episode, goodbye and farewell.